Nasaan ang bus? Wag! Saan yung Haribon?
For my friends working hard, some even working overtime, don't forget to set aside a little time to talk to your family and loved ones. No matter how much overtime money you earn, losing time with your loved ones will not be worth it because quality time with your loved ones is the best gift you can enjoy in this life. Keep your spirits up for those of you who are struggling, enjoy your break, and happy watching. In a desert village, a man named Diego and his daughter named Maya lived. One day, Diego was seen teaching Maya how to hunt with his rifle. However, she was afraid to try since it was her first time holding a gun. Diego then advised her to keep practicing to protect herself well. He also warned her never to cross the village boundary. Eventually, Diego bequeathed the rifle to Maya. Diego and Maya lived in a remote village where there were no neighbors. They only lived with a pet dog named Bala. A young policeman named Domingo was seen getting ready to go to the office in a nearby town. He left the house after saying goodbye to his wife and newborn baby.
Ayaw naman matulog eh.
Afterward, along with his superior officer Mendoza, they patrolled along the village road until they entered a forested area. Then, Mendoza informed Domingo that they had received a report of a missing bus group traveling from San Jose to Manila. Not long after, they accidentally came across a group of illegal loggers. Seeing their arrival, the illicit loggers immediately fled. However, Mendoza managed to catch one of them, who had been left behind. The man protested to Mendoza when he was arrested because his boss had been paying the police, but why was he still arrested? As it turned out, Mendoza just wanted to ask if they had anything to do with the reported missing bus. Mendoza asked the man because, according to reports he received before the bus disappeared, the bus allegedly changed its route and passed through an illegal logging site. Hearing the question, the man was mysterious and revealed that he knew nothing and was just an ordinary worker. But unfortunately, Mendoza had a surprisingly cruel side. Not getting the answer he wanted, Mendoza mercilessly severed the worker's hand.
Nasaan ang bus? Wag!
Seeing the horrific event, Domingo was shocked and couldn't believe the brutal actions of his boss. Despite this, Domingo followed Mendoza to continue their journey, searching for the missing bus. Sure enough, a few kilometers later, they managed to find the bus. However, it was extraordinary that although the engine was still running, they did not find a single passenger on the bus. Elsewhere, Maya suddenly heard the sound of an eagle that seemed to be calling her. Without thinking, Maya decided to hunt down the eagle to get dinner. Unknowingly, she continued to cross the border and entered a nature reserve. Lulled by excitement, Maya snakes through the forest to follow the eagle. Domingo found a piece of cloth lying near a tree elsewhere. They were puzzled because they couldn't find a single fingerprint or other clue from all the passengers and the bus driver who had mysteriously disappeared. After that, Domingo only realized that there were dried blood spots on the piece of clothing he had found.
Sir!
Meanwhile, Maya finally managed to find the eagle. With calm steps, Maya looked for the correct position to shoot the eagle. Feeling very confident, Maya opened fire and made the eagle lie down. Quickly, Maya immediately picked it up to take home. On the way home, Maya felt that someone was secretly following her. Maya felt scared and immediately rushed to leave. Finally, Maya managed to get out of the forest and immediately went home with Bala. Upon arriving home, Diego immediately reprimanded Maya for crossing the village boundary and shooting a protected eagle. Although it was already done that night, they cooked the eagle. While enjoying the meal, Diego warned Maya to keep what she had done that day a secret and ordered her to hide the shotgun. Diego also ordered all the leftovers to be buried, but Maya took the eagle's nails and made it into a necklace. Suddenly, a mysterious person appears behind a corn plant, making Maya curious again.
Lola?
However, it turned out to be her grandmother who lived in the opposite village. The grandmother is the parent of Maya's mother, who died when she gave birth to Maya. The grandmother visits her granddaughter and says, "Goodbye," as she will be traveling to the city for a long time tomorrow.
Lahat ng lalaki dito sa atin?
At the police station tonight, Domingo is seen guarding alone, still curious about the disappearance of the bus passengers. Not long after, a woman was seen standing silently at the end of the hallway. It was a peasant woman who had come to ask for help. Holding up a photograph, the woman told Domingo that she was from Hacienda village and had come to look for her husband, who had yet to return home for days. Hearing the story, Domingo asked if her husband was also a passenger on the bus that went missing yesterday. As it turned out, her husband was one of the bus's passengers. The woman also informed Domingo that her husband and the other farmers had gone to Manila to settle a land dispute that a palm oil company had forcibly claimed. Domingo carefully kept the photo, promising the woman that he would investigate the case and find her husband. The next day, the police chief suddenly closed the case of the missing bus, leaving Domingo shocked and protesting. He felt there was something odd behind their disappearance. Instead, the chief of police scolded him and gave him a new case, the disappearance of a protected eagle in a nature reserve. Domingo was very disappointed.
Wala naman ako nabalitaan na...
Outside the office, Domingo was angry that the police seemed to be deliberately covering up the missing bus case. The case involved the lives of 10 people. Seeing Domingo's reaction, Mendoza tells him to forget about it and invites him to investigate the eagle case. Arriving at the nature reserve, Sergio, the guard, tells them that he couldn't find the eagle's carcass. All he saw was a fallen tracker, while the eagle could not have survived outside the reserve due to the deforested forest. Soon after, Domingo found a bullet casing, indicating that someone may have shot the eagle. They began to suspect Diego's family, the only ones living nearby. Without hesitation, they rushed to Diego's house. When they arrived, they didn't find Diego, only Maya was alone. They immediately questioned Maya about the bullet casings they found. However, Maya just shook her head while preparing to hold a rifle from behind a wooden wall. Domingo, who was still curious about the case of the missing bus, immediately asked Maya if she knew the farmer in the photo he had brought. Suddenly, Diego returns from the field and tells Maya to go back.
Maya, labas ko muna. Laban. Taga-diyan kami sa presinto sa bayan.
They immediately questioned Diego about the eagle and the bullet casings they found. Diego pretended not to know. He admits that he doesn't even own a rifle. Meanwhile, Sergio tries to chat with Maya, who is seen with the ball. Sergio accidentally saw a necklace made of eagle nails that Maya was wearing. Seeing Sergio's suspicion, Maya hurriedly hid it. Then, without sufficient evidence, they said goodbye and asked Diego to come to the police station the following day to make a report. Before leaving, Sergio was seen whispering something to Mendoza about his suspicion of the necklace Maya was wearing. Not wanting his actions to be exposed, Diego decided to bury the rifle behind the house to hide the evidence. Shortly after, Maya asks her father if what he did was wrong. Diego tries to calm her down, telling her that it was just an accident, and he hurries to bury the gun to avoid further trouble. Later that evening, Domingo and Mendoza accidentally see a group of people about to pull the bus that went missing yesterday. They both got off and asked who told them to do this. They replied that they were running errands for someone. Then, they gave Mendoza a note. Mendoza hurried to read it. After reading it, he suddenly told Domingo to let them all go. Seeing this reaction, Domingo became even more suspicious of the police's possible involvement in the case. Upon arriving at the police station, Domingo became even more curious about the disappearance of the farmers on the bus. He decided to venture out and call the police station in Hacienda, where the missing farmers were from. However, instead of finding a bright spot, he was threatened by the police to forget about the case. This further strengthened Domingo's suspicion that something was hidden behind the case. The next day, Mendoza broke the news that Diego had given false testimony. Not long after, the police chief and other police officers who happened to be passing by suddenly asked about the eagle case they were investigating. The chief also suddenly took a folder from Domingo, thinking it was his report. Instead, the folder contained the case files of the missing farmer bus passengers. The chief was furious and threatened Domingo to stop investigating the case. He threatened to make his life miserable if Domingo continued to insist on investigating the case. From there, it was revealed that the police had taken bribes from the company's boss. The farmers who were going to Manila to take care of the land dispute were deliberately killed and destroyed by the company's thugs so that the company could win the dispute and seize the farmers' land. After the police chief left them, Domingo disappointedly asked Mendoza what was wrong with the farmers fighting for their land rights, of which they were the rightful owners. However, the police silenced them. Hearing this, Mendoza warned Domingo to stop immediately, or he would lose everything, as it was known that prominent government officials were involved in the case. Full of frustration, Domingo decided to go home. Upon arriving at his yard, Domingo was surprised to see a fire in front of his house and immediately tried to put it out. Sensing something was amiss, he entered the house carefully to look for his wife and child. Luckily, they were both okay. Suddenly, Domingo received a phone call from someone. Quickly, he answered the call. However, his surprise was heightened when he heard the man on the other end of the line threaten that if he dared to investigate the case of the missing farmer, it would be his son and wife who would suffer the consequences. The next day, before leaving for work, Domingo asked his wife to leave the house immediately and go to his father's house. Upon arriving at the police station, all his colleagues looked very strange. They looked sarcastically at Domingo, who was not in line with them. Domingo is torn between being an honest cop or being corrupt like them for the safety of his wife and child. Meanwhile, elsewhere, Diego excuses himself to go to the police station to make a report and asks Maya to take good care of herself. Maya sheds tears because she is afraid that her father will not return. Not long after, Diego ran into Mendoza, who was about to arrest him. At once, Mendoza got out of the car and asked where Diego had hidden his rifle. When he didn't answer, Diego was taken to the police station for questioning. In the darkness of the night, Maya is seen eating sweet potatoes alone while waiting for her father, who has not returned, accompanied by a classic song from her ancient radio. As she savored her meal, someone suddenly arrived. Maya thought it was her father and immediately went out to meet him, but it turned out to be a mysterious man who had previously followed her while hunting eagles. Seeing this, Maya was terrified and rushed into the house to hide under the mosquito net. In the interrogation room, Diego was severely tortured for refusing to show the place where he had hidden his rifle. Mendoza then ordered Domingo to participate in the torture of Diego, threatening that his wife and son would get into trouble if Domingo refused. Reluctant to protect his family, Domingo finally complied with Mendoza's order and beat Diego unthinkingly. The next day, Maya, who had just awakened from her sleep, went to the river to bathe and wash her clothes. After finishing, Maya daydreamed and approached the Bala to promise to be with her forever. Not long after, when Maya wanted to cut her hair, Bala suddenly disappeared somewhere. Maya thought that Bala had gone home first. After finishing cleaning herself, Maya hurried home. Upon arriving home, Maya saw the arrival of Domingo and Mendoza, who were already near her house. Maya rushed to hide under the house. Meanwhile, Mendoza and Domingo searched all over the house but found nothing. Soon after, her favorite dog, Bala, suddenly barked at them. From under the house, Maya tried to tell the Bala to shut up and run, but the Bala ignored Maya and continued to bark to protect Maya. Unable to find Maya and the evidence, the two were exasperated and vented their frustration by shooting Bala. After that, Domingo covered Bala's corpse and hurried away. It was a dark day for Maya, as if reality didn't allow her to have at least one friend. Bala, who had always been with her, had to leave her, too. Under the cloudy weather and thunderous lightning, Maya again dug the hole where her father's rifle was hidden. After that, because of hunger, Maya made a fire and cooked the duck she had hunted from the river. Suddenly, she was visited by a man with a crushed head. The man looked as if he wanted to show Maya something important. Meanwhile, inside the prison, another inmate tells Diego that soon, the lights will go out, and one of the inmates in this room will also die. I don't know what he means, but suddenly, when the lights go out, they make a scene and kill an inmate. It was discovered that the inmate had been planning to escape from prison for a long time, and today was the day he was going to do it, just as Diego was just one day into the prison. The guard on duty came to check on the situation, and when he entered, he found a dead inmate. Quickly, the prisoner killed the guard and urged Diego to escape. They both managed to escape and temporarily hid behind some bushes. Not long after, Mendoza and Domingo headed back to the police station. While passing by, Mendoza realized that someone was hiding behind the bushes. He turned around, and sure enough, he caught Diego and another inmate, helping him escape. Quickly, Mendoza opened fire and managed to kill the inmate. Luckily, Diego dodged the shot and fled into the forest's darkness. Throughout the night, shuffling along, Diego finally made it home to check on Maya. Meanwhile, seeing her father's whereabouts, Maya, who had just returned from the river, immediately met him. Finally, they met again. Maya looked very sad when she saw her father in a battered condition. Not long after, Mendoza arrived, not to arrest Diego but to kill him and Maya. Seeing the arrival of Mendoza and Domingo, Diego ordered Maya to run to the field. Seeing this, Maya gave her gun to her father. A shootout ensued between the three of them. Diego was killed in the shootout, but before he died, Diego also managed to kill Mendoza. Meanwhile, it turned out that Domingo was still alive, although in a relatively weak condition. Maya, who returned to see her father's condition, immediately took advantage of the situation and quickly loaded bullets to kill Domingo. While Maya was in the correct position, unexpectedly, she kept Domingo alive and let him escape in his car. Maya did this to let Domingo live the rest of his life with regret. Meanwhile, Maya embraces the body of her father, who is now gone. Not long after, an eagle flew close to Maya as if asking her to follow it. The eagle kept moving as if to show her a huge secret. Sure enough, when Maya followed the eagle, she managed to find the bodies of the missing farmer passengers of the bus. The farmers were deliberately killed cruelly by humans in the form of animals who were immune to the law to seize their land. Maya finally realizes that the mysterious man who has been coming to her is the spirit of one of the farmers who was a victim in the murder case. And the movie ends.